Good morning, grade 2. Our new science lesson for this week is about environments for living things. We're going to learn throughout this lesson what is an environment and how do living things interact in their environments. First of all, let's start by learning what is an environment and see how do plants and animals need one another. Plants and animals use living things and non-living things to meet their needs. All the living and non-living things in a place make up an environment. So people, animals, plants, and objects are all parts of an environment. Plants and animals get the things they need from their environment. So, for example, plants and animals need air. Plants need sunlight to make food. Animals find food in their environment. Plants and animals need space to live and grow. Animals find shelter in the environment where they live. So this is how animals and plants meet their needs in their environment. Now let's see how do plants help animals. Animals use plants to meet their needs. Many animals use plants for shelter. Some animals hide in plants, while other animals live in plants or use them to build homes. Now we are going to see three different examples of animals that get help from plants. First example, an owl finds shelter in a tree. Second example, a panda eating bamboo, and bamboo is a kind of plant. Third example, ants finding both food and shelter in the thorns of this tree. So this is how plants can help animals. Now let's see how do animals help plants. Animals may help plants reproduce. Reproduce, it means to make new plants. Some animals carry fruits to new places. There, the seeds inside the fruits may grow into new plants. Some other animals spread pollen for plants. What is pollen? Pollen is a powder that flowers need to make seeds. How is pollen spread? Pollen may stick to an animal. The animal carries the pollen from flower to flower. This process is called pollination, and it helps plants make new plants. Now here we have three pictures that show different types of animals that can spread seeds or pollen. For example, the dog spreads seeds that are inside the burrs on its fur. In the second picture, we can see that as a bat drinks the flower nectar, pollen rubs off on the bat. And in the third picture, we can see a beetle carrying pollen on its body. And in the last picture, we can see the process of pollination. We can see what occurs during pollination. The butterfly is carrying pollen from flower 1 to flower 2. Now we will learn about food chains. We need to know what is a food chain. A food chain, by definition, shows how energy moves from plants to animals. Food chains usually start with sunlight and plants. So if we look at the food chain represented here, we should follow the arrows. The arrows show how plants and animals are linked in a food chain. So food energy flows from one organism to another, and the arrow is used to show the feeding relationship between the animals. The arrow points from the organism being eaten to the organism that eats it. If we look at these pictures, we can see a food chain. Water plants use sunlight to make food. A turtle eats the water plants, and an eagle eats the turtle. So this is a food chain. It shows how energy moves from plants to animals. Now, let's see how our living things adapted to their environments. But first of all, let's learn what is an adaptation. An adaptation is something that helps a living thing survive in its environment. Let's start with the plants. Plants live almost everywhere. Some places they live in are dry, other places are wet and shady. So plants have ways to survive where they live. These ways are called adaptations. For example, water lilies have long stems that let their leaves reach the water's surface. There, the lilies get sunlight. Cacti, for example, live where it is dry, so their thick, waxy stems store water. Rainforest plants have very large leaves. These leaves help the plants get sunlight in the shady forest. So these are examples of adaptations that help living things survive in their environments. Animals also have adaptations to help them survive in their environments. They may live where there is little food. They may live where it is very cold, so their adaptations help them survive where they live. Penguins, for example, live on ice and in cold water, so they have a thick layer of fat that keeps them warm. Giraffes, as another example, have long tongues to pull leaves off trees. Camels live where it is dry and sandy, so they have long eyelashes that help keep sand out of their eyes. So these are adaptations that help animals survive where they live. Now, let's talk about how do environments change over time. Things happen in nature that can change environments over time. Different kinds of weather change an environment from season to season. Fires and earthquakes can make changes in minutes. Fire, for example, can change an environment. It burns trees and plants. Some animals move to safer places, and some animals may die. Now, these pictures show a forest before a fire and a forest during a fire. The changes do not last forever. New trees and plants grow back. Animals come back to the area to live in the trees and eat the plants. People also change their environments. People change environments because they need resources. What is a resource? A resource is anything people can use to meet their needs. People can help and harm environments. How do you change your environment? Let's look at these pictures. In this picture, we can see that pollution and trash harm environments. In the second picture, we can see that people may need to cut down trees to make space for buildings. But you can help keep environments clean. How? By reducing trash and recycling. Thank you for watching.